Okay, settle down, team. Next up, we're diving headfirst into the internet's latest favorite pastime, freaking the fuck out about World War III. Seriously, you can't scroll for 5 minutes without seeing some variation of OMG, are we gonna die? Or #WI trending. It's everywhere. What's the deal?
It's a reflection of the ambient anxiety, isn't it? There's a pervasive feeling of instability. The war in Ukraine hasn't ended. Tensions between global powers feel like they're simmering constantly. The conflict in the Middle East. It all feeds into this collective sense of dread. People feel it in the air.
It's definitely shifted. What used to be fringe conspiracy chatter or late-night dorm room speculation is now mainstream. Every geopolitical hiccup, every slightly aggressive statement from a world leader immediately fuels this massive online discussion. The signal-to-noise ratio is atrocious, frankly.
Right? Like 1 minute you're watching cat videos, the next it's some thread about nuclear flashpoints. So, what specific dumpster fires are fueling this particular wave of panic?
The brief mentions the obvious ones, the ongoing war in Ukraine. Of course, with the constant underlying fear of escalation, maybe involving NATO directly. Then there's the persistent tension between the US, China, and Russia, the classic great power rivalry playing out, and the Israel-Hamas conflict, which always carries the risk of broader regional or even global entanglement. It feels like multiple fuses are lit.
Oh, absolutely. Lit fuses everywhere. But let's be rational for a second. Are these situations actually pointing towards an imminent global conflict on the scale of World War I or II? Or is it more localized instability being amplified by the internet's echo chamber? While the risk is undeniably higher than, say, 10 years ago, a leap to whiz tomorrow is often driven by emotion, aimed at strategic reality. Direct conflict between major nuclear powers is still something everyone desperately wants to avoid, mostly for self-preservation. Doesn't mean accidents can't happen.
So you're saying we can probably finish our season passes before the nukes fly? Good to know, Nina. Very reassuring. But speaking of terrifying symbols, people are apparently losing their minds over the Doomsday Clock again. What's the deal with that creepy thing?
The Doomsday Clock. It's quite poignant, really. Created after World War II by scientists who worked on the atomic bomb, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. It's meant to symbolize how close humanity is to self-annihilation, primarily through nuclear war, but now also climate change and disruptive technologies. Midnight represents catastrophe.
And currently, it's set at 89 seconds to midnight. That's the closest it has ever been. The bulletin explicitly cites Russia's war in Ukraine and the thinly veiled threats of nuclear weapon use as a major driver for that setting. They also factor in the lack of progress on climate change and the risks posed by AI and biological threats. It's a holistic assessment of existential risk.
89 seconds? Jesus, that's like barely enough time to pick a filter for my apocalypse selfie. Does anyone online even get that it's symbolic? Or do they think there's some sweaty scientist literally about to hit a giant red button when the timer runs out?
Judging by the online reactions, many seem to take it far too literally. It gets shared as proof that the end is nigh, fueling the exact panic Allah mentioned. It's effective symbolism, perhaps too effective in the age of viral misinformation. People see closest ever, and their brains jump straight to the worst case scenario.
Which is exactly why this whole WWIII thing explodes online constantly, right? It's terrifying objectively, but the internet just loves to marinate in fear.
Precisely, fear is a powerful engagement driver. Combine genuine geopolitical anxiety with the internet's ability to amplify emotion and add a dash of morbid curiosity, and you get a recurring viral phenomenon. Every international incident, every missile test, every diplomatic spat triggers the algorithm, and suddenly, WWIII is trending again. It's a feedback loop of anxiety.
Oh yeah, remember when that whole thing with Iran happened a while back? Twitter was a goddamn meltdown for 48 hours. Everyone was convinced they were getting drafted by morning. Then, nothing. The internet just moved on to the next panic.
It's true. Google search trends spiked dramatically after major events. The invasion of Ukraine saw a massive global surge in searches for World War III. The same happened during recent escalations in the Middle East. Social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube become flooded with speculative content ranging from serious analysis to, well, teenagers planning their draft dodging strategies.
Don't forget the memes. My God, the why memes are a genre unto themselves. You've got the POV, you get drafted for WW3 TikToks. The starter packs, The jokes about fighting alongside influencers. It's dark, but honestly, some of it is fucking hilarious.
It's a coping mechanism, I suppose. Facing something so vast and terrifying, perhaps humor is the only way the human spirit can process it without shutting down completely, especially for younger generations who've grown up with overlapping crises, climate change, pandemics, economic uncertainty, and now this constant drumbeat of potential war. It's a way to feel some control, even if it's just through laughter.
Or maybe it's just trivializing something incredibly serious. There's a fine line. Is joking about nuclear apocalypse a healthy way to manage existential dread? Or does it desensitize us to the actual horrors of war? Does it make it harder to take the real threats seriously when they're buried under layers of irony? I lean towards the latter. It feels unproductive, maybe even dangerous.
Unproductive, Nina? Sometimes laughing is the only thing that stops you from crying or screaming. It doesn't mean people don't get the seriousness, it's just surviving the daily bullshit of knowing this is hanging over us.
Fair enough, but alongside the memes, you also have this serious content trying to cut through. News outlets rush out explainers, geopolitical analysts drop Twitter threads dissecting troop movements or treaty implications, trying to provide clarity.
And those often go viral too, because people are genuinely desperate for answers. They want someone credible to tell them what's really going on, how worried they should actually be. That thirst for clarity in the face of fear is powerful.
Yeah, you get the contrast. Some super serious dude in a suit explaining NATO Article 5 right next to a TikTok of someone doing a Fortnite dance while pretending to dodge drone strikes. The internet is chaos, man. Pure, beautiful chaos.
Which brings us to the core debate, doesn't it? Is all this online chatter, this constant why speculation, a form of responsible public awareness? Are we collectively waking up to genuine dangers, as things like the Doomsday Clock suggest?
Or is it largely irresponsible fear-mongering, creating unnecessary panic, fostering fatalism, especially among young people who feel powerless? Does constantly trending why make us more prepared or just more anxious and susceptible to manipulation? I argue it's mostly the latter. Panic is not a strategy.
So where's the line? How do you stay informed without spiraling into a bunker building frenzy fueled by memes and Twitter experts? Is it even possible anymore?
It requires critical thinking, which seems to be in short supply, and you absolutely have political actors exploiting these fears. How many times have we heard partisans accuse their opponents of dragging us to the brink of World War III? Is a potent, fear-based political weapon used to rally support or discredit adversaries? It hijacks genuine anxiety for political gain? It's cynical as hell.
And then there's the insensitivity aspect of the humor. While some find the memes cathartic, imagine being someone from Ukraine or Gaza or any place actively experiencing conflict, seeing people elsewhere casually joking about a global war that could obliterate their reality. It must feel incredibly jarring, even offensive. It highlights a disconnect between lived experience and detached online commentary.
Okay, point taken. Ayla, maybe my Why Bunker playlist needs a sensitivity reader, but come on, isn't dark humor a universal coping thing? Gen Z didn't invent it. People have been making grim jokes in terrible times forever. Maybe the pearl clutchers just need to lighten up a bit, or is that too much?
Beyond the ethical debate, there's the practical problem of misinformation. This high anxiety environment is fertile ground for fake news. Do we constantly see bogus stories about imminent drafts, false alarms about nuclear strikes, doctored images of troop movements, all designed to sow panic or push an agenda? They spread like wildfire because they tap into existing fears.
And debunking them becomes a constant, exhausting battle for legitimate news sources and authorities. By the time a correction is issued, the false information has already done its damage, amplifying anxiety and eroding trust. It's incredibly difficult to navigate that information landscape responsibly.
Oh man, I saw one the other day claiming aliens were going to intervene to start World War III because humanity was getting too boring. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised. Bring on the alien-fueled apocalypse, I guess?
Please don't give them ideas, cheeky. The reality is messy enough without adding extraterrestrial warmongers to the mix.
All right. So, wrapping this cheerful topic up, it seems like this whole WWIII online freakout is this unholy cocktail of genuine fear from very real global tension. intentions. The internet's ability to turn anything into a viral meme fest, and a whole lot of people just trying to figure out how scared they should actually be.
Perhaps the healthiest way to process it is to acknowledge the real risks without succumbing to paralyzing fear. Stay informed through credible sources, but also cultivate inner peace. Tend to your own garden, connect with loved ones, find beauty in the everyday. Don't let the shadow of potential catastrophe eclipse the light of the present moment.
And practically speaking, curate your information diet. Don't doom scroll. Verify sources before sharing panic-inducing headlines. Understand the difference between speculative chatter and confirmed fact. And maybe, just maybe, log off occasionally. The world will likely still be here when you get back. Probably.